Hey everybody, Jackie with Syrup and Biscuits here, and we are diving into some comfort food today. I've got a 3.5 pound chuck roast, and we're going to turn this chuck roast into the best pot roast you have ever tasted. We're going to cook it with some vegetables, and we're going to make a rich brown gravy all in the same pot, so this truly is a one pot meal. But when I think of comfort food, my favorite is pot roast. Now, this is not a meal that you can get on the table in a hurry, so if you're running around quickly trying to fix supper, this is not what you want to turn to, because this will take about 4 hours from start to finish. But we're going to season it, we're going to sear it, and then we're going to braise the daylights out of it until it is fall apart tender. We're going to cook the vegetables and make the gravy in the same pot. This is just the best. You will swallow your tongue trying to eat this. It is so good. So stick around and let's make this pot roast together. Okay, pot roast. So we got to season this big old hunk of meat. Now I'm going to spread mustard all over the outsides. And all this is going to do is just add a little bit extra flavor. And it's going to help the seasoning stick to it. Don't be afraid to use the mustard or season generously, because this is a big piece of meat here. And make sure you get top, bottom, and sides. And this is my 411 seasoning, which is 4 parts kosher salt, 1 part ground black pepper, 1 part garlic powder. Gonna sprinkle this all over here good. Need a lot of seasoning for this big old hunk here. Okay, pat that down just a little bit. Alright, so we've got top, bottom, all sides coated with mustard and seasoned with 411. Now we're going to sear this off. So after we've seasoned our pot roast, chuck roast is the cup that I'm using, then we need to sear it. And you need to sear it in fat. Use whatever your fat of choice is. For me, for this particular application, my fat of choice is bacon drippings, because flavor. You know, we added flavor with the mustard layer, with the 411 seasoning layer. Let's add some flavor with our fat that we used to sear it. So I've seared this side. You see how nice and golden brown that is. Flipped it over. I'm going to sear top, bottom, and all of the outsides also. And it'll take anywhere, 3 minutes probably, just depending on how high you do this. You need it over high heat. So our pot roast is seared good on all sides. See all that brown in there? That's flavor. That's called fond. We do not want to waste any of that. So I'm just going to deglaze this pan with about 1/2 cup of red wine. Get all the bits and pieces off the bottom. Oh, this smells good already. Woo. Okay, so I think we about got that now. Brown bits and pieces. And you will not conquer us. Now we're going to make a bed of celery and sliced onions for this roast to sit on. This will add flavor, and it'll keep the roast from sticking. So I've got 1 sweet onion, and I don't know how much celery I had, 3 stalks maybe. Put that in there. Lay this roast back on top. And then later we'll take all of these onions and celery out, and we're going to add in more onions and potatoes and carrots. So I've got 4 cups of beef stock here. I might not use it all. If I don't need it all, then I'll freeze what I don't use. And that looks like about enough. So that's probably about 2 cups. I'm going to add in a cup of Worcestershire. And I'm going to put in a couple of bay leaves. And then I'll cover this, and it will go in a 350-degree oven for 2 hours. 2 hours. The total cooking time on this is going to be about 3 to 3.5 hours. into the oven. 2 hours, 2 hours of cooking time, and we're going to take this off and look at it. Be very careful when you open this up because there is some steam that's going to come out of here. Whew. Goodness me, that looks good. All right, now I'm going to remove these bay leaves because I can see them right now. That way I won't forget about it and they get mixed in with my gravy and they get stuck in somebody's throat. Just look at this. You see how tender this is. So I think another hour and a half will be just about right. Now, you see how that's falling apart there. So it's cooking good. If this had not gotten to the part where it was starting to fall apart, I would have put this back in the oven for about another 30 minutes and then taken it back out and then put my vegetables in. But I think by the time this cooks another hour and a half, it'll be good. So putting in an onion and just braise it while you got the top off. Just kick a little bit of liquid up on the top. It seems like it's pretty well covered. And then I'm going to just start layering my potatoes in. So we've got onions, potatoes, and carrots, and you just have to, it's almost like a puzzle. Just fit them in however you can. I'm going to sprinkle a little seasoning, 411 seasoning, just on top of the vegetables because they haven't been seasoned yet. We're going to put the top back on this, and it's going to go in the oven for an hour and a half. At an hour and a half, I'll take it out and check it. If the vegetables are tender, but the meat needs to cook a little bit longer, I'll take the vegetables out, put them on a sheet pan, put them in the oven, keep them warm, and then cook the roast for another 30 minutes or so until it's done. So I've taken the Dutch oven out of the oven after 1.5 hours. We're going to open it up and see what we got here. Woo-wee. The vegetables are tender, so I'm going to go ahead and take the vegetables out and just put them on a sheet pan here until we can get down to the meat and see if it's cooked long enough. And we're looking at the meat, and look, you can see that it is breaking apart. Alright, now the hardest part of this whole operation is coming up because I'm going to get the roast out, put it on the sheet pan so I can thicken our gravy. It's probably going to fall apart, and that's okay. And yep, it is going to fall apart. I'll just take it out in sections. You don't think that's tender? Goodness gracious day. Woo. So here we've got the roast and the carrots and the potatoes and the onion. I'm just going to cover this with foil, put it back in the oven, keep it on warm, and we're going to make our gravy. I've strained out the juice about the best I can, and we're just going to thicken this now for gravy. So I have dissolved 2 tablespoons of cornstarch into about 2 tablespoons of cold water. And I'll just stir this until it thickens. It's already thickening up. Bring it back to a little bit of a boil though. Oh, this is going to be some nice rich gravy. That's gravy. Nothing to it. So I hope you are headed to the store quickly to get you a chuck roast to make you this old-fashioned, from scratch pot roast with vegetables and rich brown gravy. It is so good. Your family will love you. You will be a superstar. And making it from scratch is so easy. And so I hope you use this method. It is so good and so delicious. And Oh my gosh, you'll feel like $1 million after you present this meal to your family. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I love having you in my kitchen, love having company when I cook. You can get this recipe and others at syrupandbiscuits.com. Y'all come see us. God bless you all.